lot of waves so far. I believe the draft is ready now, so let's hop on into this one and see if maybe Vox does get picked up this time around. Very strong pick. Oh, Fortress first ban. Wow. I was not seeing that coming.
No, I didn't think it was going to be starting to get banned this early on. I feel like Fortress is a very strong pick in the current meta. Really works well with a lot of what is being picked up. Adagio going to get banned. Team Limit actually grabbing the Lyra right away.
Yeah, I think they've shown the strength of they're able to play into the Lyra, but also make it work as well. They were one of the teams that used it very effectively into the carry Vox and just shut the Vox down. So I think this is a great pick for them. It's actually a flex pick like it isn't on many other teams.
And Glaive going to be then first picked for Cloud9. Again, a pick that we both, I feel, is very, very strong currently, but not many teams are really getting to play it. It's banned out quite frequently, but even when it's open, there doesn't seem to be much of a priority on it typically.
Yeah, you have to have a really, really keen eye for engagements, and I think some of the junglers kind of lack that insight. They're more looking for damage, or how do I take control of
follow-ups?
Yeah,
like let the captain engage first.
But this is like engage, look to peel, look to peel, look to engage. I think it's very strong.
Team Solomid going to take a little bit of extra time here.
I like spending a little bit of extra time on this ban because you definitely want to. Wow.
So
it's not what I would have gone for.
I think that's just going to be a throwaway ban.
They want more power in the second round.
Yeah,
more
and
power.
This is something that TSM actually, when the rules for the season were coming out, it was Flash X. I just remember specifically him asking, "Are throwaway bans still allowed? Like, can we do that? Like, can we just ban something totally random if we don't want to ban something strong?"
That's the kind of mastermind he is in the draft.
Notice it wasn't an Ozo ban.
Oh, man.
Hey.
That's too obvious. That's too overtly throwaway.
Lance available quite deep into the draft here.
Jewel, okay.
Ooh.
Wow. Wow. Is
Okay,
this going to work into the Lance?
So much power.
I feel like there's a good amount of disengage coming through from Cloud9 here already, and they could pick up a Lance.
I think the Lance deals with the Jewel decently, but and it feels like on paper you deal with Koshka very well, but her move speed is just so good.
It's like ping pong.
It is.
Like you swap them back, and it's like straight back into the fight.
Not if you land the stun. If you get the stun, she's not going to be bouncing around because she's stunned.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I mean, I don't know if I want to see the Lance come out here, though. I feel like because there is a lot of mobility and reposition ability. Well, then.
Were you going to say Rhyme?
I was not going to say Rhyme.
Interesting.
So this is a Glaive captain. Or Vox, but probably
or
Glaive.
Rhyme.
Well,
While we're at it, why don't we just list all the heroes that get picked and say they could be the captain?
we will see how this works out for them. TSM, I mentioned the Lyra being a flex pick for them, and they've used it to great effect. They've also used the Glaive to great effect. So if we can see Cloud9 pick that up early in the draft, and now teams have to worry, is this their captain? Is this their jungler?
It is going to be their captain. I'm having a look across here.
Cheater.
But yeah, so that's definitely an interesting lineup. I feel like the Rhyme, solid choice into the Jewel and the Koshka trying to jump on the front line there.
As long as they can lock down the Koshka, that's going to be the difficulty, of course. But if you can get that, the root underneath on top of a Winter Spire.
Joseph Rhyme. Oh.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing I Love Joseph play this pick. Absolutely.
All right, let's get this game underway because I can't wait either. Hand it on over to Dalcy and Jingy for the call.
And wow, it seems like the world has been bitten by the weapon-powered dual carry bug. Bestchuck now the latest casualty of this pick. Let's see how TSM are able to use it in their matchup against Cloud9. And as said, Cloud9 going to be looking for some revenge after losing out to TSM in the semi-finals of last week.
And a grudge match coming up there. I'm actually quite laughing at this conversation as well. So we are going to be seeing that Roam Glaive coming out. I think there was a bit of questioning there who exactly was going to be the Roam. But I think as that Glaive with that afterburn, that ability to reposition people, if you can just punt them into the Rhyme's vicinity, it's going to be so much utility there. But with that Lyra there who kind of mitigates any of that movement ability, it could be very difficult for them.
No, certainly will be, and I'm super excited. We did see Cloud9 put out, I believe, in the previous their previous matchup, in their third place match, they were playing with their substitute, Azurene, I believe it's pronounced, and they picked up the Captain Glaive, were able to take out their opponent's Rogue for the third place match last week, which was also off camera. But, you know, it is exciting. I like that Glaive can be pretty much played anywhere at the moment. You've seen teams take it in the captain role, you've seen them take it in the jungle where you expected it, also in lane as well. A super viable hero that can just fit into any team composition.
Exactly, a very versatile pick, and even as a captain, you pick up the Storm Crown as the Glaive. It actually does a lot of damage, and we've certainly, you know, the Storm Crown for a lot of the Crystal Glaives has been a staple. And it wouldn't surprise me. I think you will be probably going to be that for that Fountain first. So actually, I was going to say I like the Rhyme pick, especially with that Duel and the Koshka. They're going to be at melee range anyway. You can do a lot of damage with that Rhyme. The Fortified Health be very frustrating for TSM to try and deal with.
Yep, I'm expecting the Rhyme pick to possibly be what is necessary to try and shut down this weapon-powered Duel. So able to tank up very easily with his kit, and also does huge damage with the Winter Spires, the Valkyrie as well. When someone commits to an engage, you know, it counters Duel, but also counters this Koshka as well. And you can kind of see what FlashX was trying to do with the Lyra pick, you know, take it away, not allow Cloud9 to have this pick that will disable the engages. But it's almost like Cloud9 is saying, you know what, we'll have the engage. We've got Gabe Bizzle here, he can peel for old school with the afterburns, try and knock anyone away who gets on top of Vox. Vox obviously very mobile as well. And Ryan will just be there to ready and waiting, you know, catch almost as, there it is, afterburn straight into the Rhyme, and it is a bit of a catch as Best Chuck and A does go extremely low. We'll have the sigils from Flash X to start healing up, but not too many. The energy bar is very low on Flash X, so Vonsi gonna come on forward, try and take out old school. Vonsi, no fear, diving straight on in, but he may just find himself going down. Old school trying to run away, Vonsi trying to run away, but it will be first blood going to Cloud9. Old school does end up dropping to Best Chuck and A, but Cloud9 able to get that first blood.
Yeah, that's what I love about Vonsi so much. No matter who he plays as, he's always just has that level of aggression. And it's actually scary to think how so much more aggressive he used to be. Like, he actually just did not care what he did. He would just dive wherever, like, just wherever. And I think in TSM now, he's just really been, his aggression has been tempered a lot. And I think that was one of the examples where maybe he went a little bit too far, but at least TSM were able to counter it with the return kill there onto old school.
Yeah, no, certainly it's, you know, a trade in the end. I guess the first blood bonus does go to Cloud9, but you look at the CS leads that are being built up as a result of Best Chuck and A taking down old school. He's got himself a lead in the lane. I Love Joseph is starting to fall a little bit behind Koshka, who can take away the camp so quickly. Honestly, obviously able to clear super quickly. So the gold lead is there for TSM despite the first blood. Cloud9 will be, you know, attempting to find more, but they're going to allow TSM to back away now, look for a shot at the jungle.
I think part of the reason that we are seeing this gold lead is that both Vonsi and Best Chuck NA are out-farming their counterparts, and part of it is coming down to Flash X. He's really helping Best Chuck and NA in the lane. If Old School gets a little bit close, he uses his Principal Arcanum just to force him back, and it's working really well. Even the Captain Lyra at the very, very start can just do so much in terms of applying pressure in the lane, especially the Imperial Sigil as well. It makes it very difficult for your opponents just to try and get any return damage on you.
Now, for Cloud9, they're going to have to start to scale up. Old School, Gold School, whatever you want to call this kid, he will be definitely hitting those creeps and start hitting the stage where this Vox gets super strong. Does look like you'll be going towards that breaking point double monocles today, as he already has the breaking point and a minion's foot for a little bit of crit. But look at Vonsi, crept up into the bush, will be spotted out by the scouting trap, so not going to be too out of position for now. Does cause Joseph to come up to the lane and provide a bit of, you know, safety. But TSM, they're going aggressive straight onto Joseph here, looking to try and lay down a bit of poke and Von C will take a lot of a slap back. Possibly not what you want, but with the Lyra to heal you up, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think FlashX, I think one of the first Lyras today, well, sorry, or at least in NA, where they've gone for the Fountain first as opposed to the Crystal. And I think in this instance, it's just, I think the only thing you really want to be blocking from Cloud9 is that wait for it. We've seen a few instances today where that wait for it coming up from the Vox has just been game-changing at points. And definitely something he should be working towards. Right now, I'm just kind of wondering how they're going to deal with that Rhyme.
I'm interested as well. You know, I'm not entirely sure how you would. I guess you're just hoping that you can burst through the fortified health that comes through. Bit of a missed position from Cloud9. They allow their turret to take a bit of a beating, and they're trying to punish Bestchuck here, but he has his rocket leap available to come back in, and there it is. They're going straight on in. They're going on to Old School. He's gone so low, not going to escape. He gets taken down, and Von C just charges away. Joseph trying to lay down a return kill. They should be able to get Bestchuck, but we're going to take Joseph for a ride as well. That's 2 kills for TSM. Just gave Bizzle left. That is going to be a huge swing for them.
That's a really nice chain there coming from TSM. So we did see the Yummy Cat Friends do chain with the rocket leap. They really took advantage of that, but what actually really coming up from Cloud9 was that we saw the Valkyrie landing on top of them and did a lot of damage. He's only got the Eve of Harvest so far, but it did enough to force them back. And I think a lot of other teams in that position would not have continued with that level of aggression that TSM did, but TSM were able to pick up the 2 kills off the back of that. But again, no objectives being really being taken from that fight. The turret's about half health. Goldmine looks like nobody's really making any plays at the moment to try and claim that. But Bestchuck, he has to be careful with that afterburn.
Yeah, it's going to be a reposition tool for Gabe Bizzle to try and knock someone out. With that rocket leap, you can always get back into position. Then you have to watch out for Von C, who's going to be charging on through the kitty cat. Her claws out and ready. That's a breaking point finish there for Bestchuck. He's got that Sora Blade as well to boot. A very early Atlas Poultry coming through from FlashX, and now it's going to be TSM looking to take this gold miner. They can take it super quickly. Joseph does want to contest, has Valkyrie available. Will they throw it out? They stole it with the Crystal Spire, but can Cloud9 get anything else? Great wait for it. Bonsi going low, but Gabe Bizzle's going to fall first. That's going to be a second kill, and now it's just going to be Joseph, and he will not survive. The gold miner does go Cloud9's way, but an ace for TSM.
Oh, it is. So they may not have been able to take the gold mine, but at least they're going to get the turret and the 8th. And at the start of the fight, I have to say I was kind of questioning what TSM were doing. We saw Bestchuck and a FlashX. So we're actually focusing on I Love Joseph and Gabe Bizzle, kind of just leaving Old School there to stack up breaking points. I think I was fortunate enough that they were able to burst them down and then focus on Old School. But I think in the late game, that's something that they really can't afford to do. They need to be focusing on Old School in the late game.
Yes, no, Old School in the late game is going to be a monster, as this box does start to scale on up. But we've seen teams, you know, 2 different Vox builds coming through. You've got this breaking point double monocles. Oh, Gabe Bizzle almost steals that away. You know, that we're currently seeing Old School build towards here. But other teams have been prioritizing a Sorrow Blade rather than the double monocles, so that the Vox can just do a little bit more burst damage. And Old School needs to be surviving through these fights. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him to survive, and Bestchuck Von C, their prime objective will be jumping onto his face and trying to shut him down.
I think one thing, so I absolutely agree with you, is that he needs to be able to survive, but with I Love Joseph there and Gabe Bizzle, that is a very strong front line. There's a lot of tankiness there. They're able to withstand a lot of damage. Even I Love Joseph, who's not actually playing the captain role, like, he's able to suck up a lot of damage with that Rhyme. Oh dear, wait for it, misses.
Oh no, yeah, that's a massive whiff there by Old School, and now that's going to be Bestchuck diving straight onto I Love Joseph. The kitty cat goes for Old School. Old School, he's surviving for now, but will be bursted, and that just leaves Joseph between 3 to try and survive. The Crystal Sentry falls, and that's the only backup Joseph had. He will fall very low. In fact, he's going to just get taken down by Von C as well. Another 2 kills for TSM. This time unanswered by Cloud9. Old School just not getting a break.
It's really not. We just saw Von C just diving for him. He was able to block it, but I just don't think it's enough. Von C is just absolutely relentless in his pursuit of old school, and I think maybe just going the afterburn, using more defensive afterburns to try and get Vonsi away from him would be a little bit better. It was a good opportunity for Cloud9 to fight with their Crystal Sentry. Again, I think Vonsi, he's just so aggressive right now.
Too aggressive for Cloud9 to handle. You can see everyone has a reflex block now on Cloud9. Gabe Bizzle building towards that Crucible, of course, to try and provide a bit of extra utility towards his team, but this is just what happened. We saw this game 1 with Cloud9 against TSM. TSM got an early lead and they just snowballed so heavily from it last week. Currently a 5,000 gold lead for the team. It doesn't feel like Cloud9 have much of an ability to stay in this game. Old School consistently been taken away as TSM push their gold lead further with that gold miner. And you know, Cloud9, they need to protect Old School. They need to be able to keep him in the fight, or else all their consistent damage is just thrown out the window.
Yeah, I feel like Vonsi's able to dodge most of the damage coming out from Isla Joseph, and it's just really using them as a trampoline just to get closer to Old School. And it's definitely working. I think Old School, he has the reflex block, he's got the kinetic shield, and I think right now we are kind of in the peak of Koshka's power. She's just doing a lot of damage, she's running rampant through the jungle. And Old School, he's not having a good time. I think once we get into the late game, if Cloud9 just can keep their defenses up, then they should be okay.
So that's going to be the Crystal Sentry eliminated as the fight breaks out, and Old School stuck inside it. Vonsi's doing the work. It's going to be Best Chuck blowing him up with the big red button. A second onto Joseph as well, and it just leaves Gabe Bizzle left alone as he tries to dip and dive away, but there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. It will be Best Chuck. In fact, it's Vonsi finding the ace, and no one falls from TSM. It's clean as hell. They're going to be able to take this turret away here, Shinyi. Cloud9 once more just can't find an answer.
Another very slick ace. We are seeing, I think part of the issue with his weapon Voxes is just that his basic attacks are quite short range. It's very difficult for him just to be able to back away from the fights in time. For him to try and get any damage down, he has to be quite close range, and it's just perfect position there for Vonsi and Best Truck NA. They're definitely taking advantage of that right now, and maybe it would just be a good thing just to actually feed a little bit more gold and experience towards Old School, because I'm noticing that Isle of Joseph level 11, they just get Old School up a little bit more, and that'd be quite good.
I love the way TSM are dealing with this Rhyme pick, you know, just ignoring him essentially until Old School is out of the picture. Then they turn to Isle of Joseph to deal the work. And for Cloud9, we thought maybe Rhyme would be the perfect pick for taking down this Jewel and this, you know, Koshka as well. And I'm not sure Cloud9's theory crafting was wrong. It's just unfortunate that without Old School in the fight, they're immediately in a 2v3, and it makes things just so much more difficult straight off the bat.
Yeah, looking at it on paper, theoretically, Old School should have a lot of peel there. Unfortunately, CSM are just completely ignoring that, as you said, just going straight onto him every single time. And if they take Old School out of the picture, then I feel like I love Joseph Gabe Bizzle. You can't really do too much against the insane burst coming out from Vonsi. And Best Truck NA, if you look at him, he's got a lot of weapon damage just in his arsenal. Also, what's really difficult is that Flash X with Imperial Sigil. It doesn't matter if I Love Joseph's doing a lot of damage, you can just heal them right up.
Yeah, absolutely. The heal's so strong as the final gold miner was secured by TSM, and we'll say hello to beautiful mistress on the Halcyon Fold, the Kraken, going to be joining the fight once more. She makes her way out of the deep depths of the map. Now for TSM, they've eliminated this Crystal Sentry, so they can play very aggressively in the jungle, clear out all the scout traps that have been positioned, and just sit and wait for Cloud9 to walk on in. And it looks like that might just happen in a second as Old School steps forward. Vonsi dives in. There's the block onto the ultimate. They are going to keep Old School nice and healthy, in fact, as they run away. TSM not able to find this engage, so they just run away.
Perfect opportunity for TSM to go on to the Kraken though, and actually if you look at the vision control on the map, Flash X has done an absolutely amazing job. You know, they have very clear projection of when Cloud9 will be coming towards the Kraken. I think they should be able to safely get this. We might be seeing a steal, we've seen a few today.
They know what's happening. That flare's going to spot it on out. Gabe Vizzle trying to get into position here. TSM, they're biding their time. Old School split from the fight. Von C straight onto him, but he's doing the work. Old School staying alive for now, but Best Chuck joins in, and Best Chuck finds the kill. I Love Joseph, he is not going to be able to heal through this. He falls as well. And it just leaves Gabe Vizzle to run away. An afterburn and a block knocks FlashX out of the fight, trying to get to his crystal turret and just escape, but it's not going to happen. He's caught in the middle of 3, and Gabe Vizzle will fall for the ace as well. Who needs a Kraken when you have based up minions? You can just charge straight on into the base, take this choke turret down, no problems.
And they still want the Kraken. They're going for the Kraken as well. Actually, if you look at the start of that fight, TSM didn't have a great start. Von C was just kind of one-on-one against Old School, and he was actually losing in that fight. And what's really good about TSM is their synergy, because the moment I think Von C started realizing he wasn't doing so well in that 1v1 against Old School, we quickly saw the Arcane Passage coming out from FlashX, so all 3 members could group onto Old School. And that kind of collaboration is what makes TSM so strong. I think they're the only roster, EU and NA, who've managed to keep the exact same lineup, and it just works so well for them.
Yeah, absolutely. The consistency, the ability to know exactly what your teammates are going to do. TSM are on another level right now, and it felt like Cloud9, if any team was going to dethrone the North American Kings, it would be this new dream team of such star talent. But right now, you can see that they're struggling in this first game. The Kraken making its way into the base now as TSM line up to take this first game of this series. Cloud9 focusing the Kraken down. Gabe Vizzle looks for an engage, but it doesn't quite connect. He has to jump away. That's going to be TSM welcomed now as Gabe Vizzle goes low, as does I Love Joseph. Von C looking to get straight on to Old School, and Best Chuck's going to dive on forward as well. The first turret goes down, and so does Old School. He goes very low, and he will fall. But here we go, Joseph, he's doing work. A double kill on the Rhyme, and it will look like it will be a triple. There's not much way for FlashX to go. He's just buying time so the Kraken to do as much damage to the base as possible. It will find a second Crystal Tower. Will FlashX get away with it as well? Rhyme, not the fastest of heroes. In fact, Joseph has to give up the chase, turn attention to this Kraken as it will be taken down here by Cloud9.
Oh, no.
FlashX looking to just do damage to the Vein Crystal. Needs to make sure he doesn't get aced here, so will back away. That will be the Kraken taken out of the picture. Old School respawns. Cloud9 managed to hold on to their base for now.
I feel like this is very similar to last week, actually, when TSM and Cloud9. I think there was a similar situation where Cloud9 were forced into their base, and TSM could just easily backdoor. And again, with the Jewel and the Lyra there, they definitely have the chance to do so, and absolutely not surprise me if they just went for that backdoor. So we do want to be seeing that vision being established. And I don't know if Gabe Vizzle, has he picked up any scout traps to defend the base? Doesn't look like it, because he doesn't have the money, which might be a bit of an issue if TSM become a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, it didn't even matter. He had full vision of TSM last week when they backdoored over, and there was just nothing that he could do anyways.
I think they're about to do it.
Looks like they're getting ready for it. Scout Trap will spot out Von C. Gabe Vizzle's in position, just waiting and watching for TSM's attempt. Last time it was Best Chuck on the Lyra to lead the charge. This time FlashX. They're going to just head on over to the middle of the map. They have these waves, get the lane pushing, put the pressure back onto Cloud9. Old School has completed his double monocles build now, so damage is there for Cloud9. They could take the fight, but FlashX, he wants to engage straight on in. They're going to try and get onto Old School with that yummy catnip frenzy. Blocked up, but he's taking so much damage. Valkyrie slows Von C down, but here comes Best Chuck over the wall. He's not in position. The red button does go out, but it's weapon power. It's not the best. Oh dear, Von C, he's going for the end of the game as Cloud9 are stuck in a fight. They're looking to try and get onto Best Chuck. Here comes Gabe Vizzle to try and knock Von C away, but Best Chuck's jumped on over. There's no way Cloud9 defend this. This will be the crystal being destroyed, and game one, it goes to TSM.
What a game. I think the whole game, it definitely felt very much in TSM's favor. They felt very in control the whole time in terms of the pressure that they were applying, the team fights. I felt like they were coming out on top every single time. Cloud9, they had a few good fights, but it just didn't seem quite enough. And I think if it had gone on a little bit longer, we could have seen the chance for Cloud9 to come back from that.
Just unfortunate that they didn't have the base to allow for it. Slow builds, Cloud9 not able to get into it. Old School completely choked out, and That's the strength of Weapon Power Jewel. It's no wonder she is so strong in the meta right now. TSM show us that they can also play it too. Fantastic stuff coming from TSM as they take the first game in this series. Time to throw over to AJ and the boys on the desk to break that one down.
Man, you really got to watch out for Jewel in the current meta, huh? She is doing so much work both in Europe and North America now. Team Solo Mid made a very decisive game 1.